P.H.C. Marchesi has a Ph.D. in English literature and is an English professor. She has written 2 award-winning middle-grade sci-fi novels. The space travels of Shelby and Shauna Kitt are partially based on childhood memories of exploring new places and cultures. And here to read now is P.H.C. Marchesi.
Thank you so much. Shelby and Shauna Kitt and the Alterax Buttons features 13-year-old twins, Shelby and his sister Shauna, who are space heroes on planet Miriax. In this sequel, Shelby's been having these headaches that cause him to teleport to these random locations. And for the sake of clarification, Clodians are the villainous aliens of the novel, and their living ships are the cloud-like space ghosts. So this is a selection from Chapter 8, Prisoners on a Planet. Shelby woke up, startled, with the sound of music, or something like music, but strange and unsettling. It was still night, and he had no idea how long he had slept. He felt feverish and disoriented, and his heart was beating so fast that he was finally awake as he crouched behind a low stump, trying to figure out if he detected the sound of footsteps. He concluded that he did, and felt a shiver go down his spine as he identified an eerie shuffling and stomping on the ground. He carefully raised his head, just enough to be able to see. To his horror, he realized that the man shuffling along was none other than General Tresses, the albino Clodian who had broken into their Manhattan apartment. Shelby watched, stunned, as the Clodian general awkwardly danced forward. He was followed by his space ghost, whose white tentacles clutched several prisoners while forcing them on. Shelby stifled a gasp as he identified his mother, Jit's parents, and a man in his 50s wearing overalls and carrying a pig. Yes, a pig. Staying just far enough out of sight, he quietly trailed them. The music continued, as did the macabre Clodian dance of General Tresses. The space ghost, too, seemed affected by the eerie melody, its ghostly shape quivering slightly as if trying to shake free. Thankfully, neither his mother nor the rest of the group, Pig included, appeared to be under the same spell. Shelby noticed that they occasionally whispered to each other. He tried in vain to catch anything they were saying. The music didn't help either. Shelby wished he could figure out where it was coming from and turn it off. He wiped the thick drops of sweat from his forehead and leaned against a trunk to rest. When he looked again, they had disappeared from sight. Panicking, he doubled his speed and finally reached a rim of a plateau. To his shock, the plateau below went on for as far as the eye could see, and he could see far with his enhanced vision, and was replete with albino Clodians and space ghosts, all dancing on the spot as if in a bizarre sort of trance. For some reason, the scene sickened Shelby. Worried about being spotted, he laid himself down as flatly as he could by the rim's edge. Thoughts raced through his mind with dizzying speed. What should he do? The Clodian general, space ghost, and human prisoners were slowly making their way down the slope and toward the plateau. If Shelby followed them down the slope, he would definitely be seen. Another problem. The headache from hell was back. Shelby crawled away from the edge, nauseous. He didn't want to teleport back to Valmorex before figuring out how to get his mother out of there. He had to find a way to feel better. What he needed was water, and fast. Who are you? The unexpected and startling question came from a man with dull, lilac eyes, a gray Mirian suit, faded and torn, and white hair that had not seen a traditional Mirian haircut for a very long time. More importantly, continued the man, staring intently at Shelby, how did you get here? The sharp pain on Shelby's right temple prevented him from answering. Water, please, he moaned. Come with me, said the man after surveying him for a second. There is water in the caves. They are not far off. But Shelby's feet faltered and he fell on the hard, dusty ground. He thought he heard shuffling steps nearby. He opened his eyes slightly, doing so hurt a lot, and registered several blurred shapes in a grotesque dance towards him. Worse still, his newly found Mirian ally was gone. How he could have disappeared so fast was beyond Shelby. Even in his disoriented state, Shelby knew that if he wanted to live, he had to get out of there. His His grit kicked in, together with a high dose of adrenaline, and he stumbled ahead. The veins in his head throbbed, and his lungs screamed for him to stop, but he didn't. He had to stay alive. He had to get back to Miriax. He had to get back to Shauna. At some point, he realized he was making his way toward the plateau's edge, but he didn't care. He knew he'd teleport in a second. Summoning every last bit of strength he had, he ran as fast as he could and leapt over the rim, becoming weightless as he did so. The impulse from the jump propelled him through the air, and for a moment he appeared, at least to the pursuing Clodians, to be flying rather than floating. A space ghost pursued Shelby off the cliff. Before one of its tentacles could touch him, Shelby vanished in midair.